Good evening, everyone. My name is Shrikar Shenoy. I represent Steel Plant Specialties, and this is a 25-year-old company. We make innovative products for heat treatment, hot forging, hot rolling, and die casting industries. Some of them include hot forging lubricants, coatings to prevent scaling during heat treatment, refractory coatings. Two of these subjects I'll be covering in my presentation today, and I look forward to further interaction with you all during the evening for further discussions. Now, as the presentation reads, we will be slightly inverting the order of this presentation. We will be having a look at the importance of heat treatment and what leads to scaling, and then finally look at preventing scalings and preventing rejection due to scaling. The bonus subject for today, bonus subject of the day is reducing furnace oil consumption through special techniques. I will be covering some techniques which are quite important in this area, because everywhere we're talking about reducing fuel consumption and reducing maintenance downtime. So this is an area which we have done some interesting work. And all these case studies, I have tried to include pictures wherever possible. It's my pleasure, and I'm really excited to share all these case studies which have been developed since the last 25 years. Moving to the first subject, heat treatment, like we all know, is a very important function in the manufacturing process of engineering components, machine parts, castings, forgings, etc. It can either add value to the already value-added product. We are taking the raw material and making it into useful shapes, and then we desire to administer certain characteristics into it by heat treatment. But due to certain parameters, oxidation occurs, scaling occurs, and certain such defects, and we get rejections. Now, what exactly is oxidation? Like the name suggests, it's inclusion of oxygen. It's as simple as that. Oxygen has a thermodynamic affinity to metal, and while heating for heat treatment or for forging, oxygen combines with metal to give metal oxide. The same oxygen which is responsible for holding our lives together is also responsible for causing crores of rupees of loss every day, and equal amounts are wasted due to disposal of scale and such non-productive activities when it comes to heat treatment. These are the general reactions that take place during scaling. We have oxygen combining with metal, and we get metal oxide. Some of the harmful effects of oxidation, the first and the most critical one is the loss of dimension and material. Now, we know that we are going to encounter scaling, so we begin with keeping more material in stock for this tolerance. It's called tolerance, so that machining is taken care of. This is where, if we don't have the tolerance, we lose out on the dimension. If we maintain this extra tolerance, we lose out on the material. The next one is deterioration of surface quality due to pitting and scaling. A number of forging components are, during reheating, we have pit marks developed on them due to oxidation and scaling, and this gives rise to rejections of those components. Non-uniform metallurgical transformation during hardening, lowered surface hardness and strength, reduced fatigue life of the component. This is especially in case of leaf springs, which is used in automobile brakes, where if you need certain number of cycles from a leaf spring, and we have decarburization or scaling introduced into that component, the cycle is considerably reduced. The general practice to combat scaling, as we have mentioned before, we leave an allowance for machining, and after the heat treatment, the removal of oxidized surface by machining operation is carried out after heat treatment. However, I'm going to be speaking about protective coatings, which have either proven to completely eliminate scaling or substantially reduce the scaling effect. Like we have studied before, oxygen and metal combine to give metal oxide. So what we do here simply, well, before we get to the coating part, I'd like to dwell on certain other methods of preventing scaling. The first one is copper plating prior to heat treatment. Well, again, it's a time consuming and an expensive affair. We would have to again spend time on removing the copper plating after heat treatment. Use of molten salt baths is slowly losing its ground because it's not environment friendly and it's quite polluting. Use of protective atmospheres, well, endothermic and exothermic gases like nitrogen and ammonia. It's a common practice, but again, it's an expensive practice. Use of vacuum furnaces sometimes is also quite capital extensive, and it could be quite prohibitively expensive. Switching over to grades not requiring heat treatment, well, we do not have many options over here. Not many grades are available where we can actually eliminate the heat treatment part. And lastly, we come to the use of protective coatings. And like we have spoken before, we simply create a barrier between oxygen and metal such that the oxygen does not combine with metal. A simple representation would be this one. This yellow layer here is an anti-scale compound which is applied on the component or the billet, whatever the case may be, before heating or heat treatment, and the air is not allowed to interact with the metal. Oxidation is either prevented or delayed, and this is the general impact that we have on the scaling mechanism. Now, the benefit achieved over here depends entirely on the temperature and the soaking periods. What I will be sharing with you all is a number of case studies, and we can have a better understanding of the subject. Of course, before we go about using an anti-scale compound, it's necessary that we make sure that it does not react with metal. That will entirely defeat the whole purpose. It does not give any toxic fume, because during storage or use or during heat treatment or disposal, at all stages we have to ensure that it's environment friendly and eco-friendly. It has to be completely non-hazardous because it should be easier to use at the end of the day. And of course, it should work out economical when we are comparing an anti-scale compound to so many other factors like copper plating and vacuum furnace. So it definitely needs to work out more economical. The method of application should be simple because we are talking about a large number of components to be heat treated, either forging or casting. Some of the common methods of application would be brushing, dipping, or spraying. Benefits of using protective coatings, well, prevention of scaling. I'll be giving case studies for all these points. So let's take the first one. This is a stainless steel sheet. As you can see, this half of the sheet was coated with an anti-scale compound, and after heat treatment, after solution annealing, and a little bit of buffing, you can see the remarkable difference between the not coated area, which is over here, and you can see that scaling has developed, and the aesthetic appeal of the sheet is spoiled, and so you can see some pit marks over here, whereas over here you can see a fairly good finish. This is a tabular representation of the same thing. The furnace used over here is a regular box type electric furnace, and grade of steel AISI 1010. This is your heat treatment cycle, and you can see that the scale loss when coated, we had a saving of 4.82% approximately. When not coated, the scale loss is 5.52, and it has considerably dropped when we have used an anti-scale compound. This again is a component which was not coated against a component which was coated. This area again we have done very little bit of buffing, and you can see it's almost a mirror finish that we have achieved over here after buffing. This is an interesting case study in case of alloy steel, quite an expensive one, where the end thickness, the final thickness that was desired was 3.7 mm, and they started with an initial thickness of 4.5 mm. The remaining portion was left for grinding, which accounted for loss due to scaling. Now this is quite an expensive alloy steel, and after using an anti-scale compound, after trials, we came to a conclusion that the allowance could be reduced up to 4 mm. That is, we could reduce 0.5 mm from the initial thickness, and the use of protective coatings before charging them into the furnace. Annealing, the cycle time, everything is the same. Grinding time again was reduced by 50%. The time and the material has been saved over here. The final thickness achieved is the same over here, and this saving of 0.5 mm, which is approximately 11%, has given a saving of approximately 43 lakhs, because again, like I said, it's an alloy steel grade and an expensive one, and the investment towards the same was approximately in the range of 4 lakhs. Knuckle joint, and our customer would usually have quench cracking in this area the stem area. And again, when we used an anti-scale compound, the quench cracking was essentially due to scaling. When we used an anti-scale compound, it was reduced by less than 1%, where their overall percentage was 6% in terms of rejections. Imagine 6%, and this is a high volume product, so 6% would be a considerable amount. Yes, again, an interesting area would be to eliminate or minimize post-heat treatment operations. Like again, we have said, the short blasting, grinding, acid pickling, they all add to time and they all add to cost, but they do not add any value. So our aim is to reduce these operations after heat treatment. In case of heat treatment of stainless steel pipe fittings, we see that after applying the coating, all the other details are mentioned over here, these are the components. Solution handling is done over here. Now, after applying the coating, the anti-scale compound, pickling time is reduced by 75% over here, and buffing can be eliminated in many cases, hence quicker deliveries. One of our customers at Baroda, an esteemed heat treater, has said that he could eliminate pickling to such an extent that when he used to deliver products in 15 days, he could reduce the lead time to 5 days. So that's the value we look forward to adding. This is a case study at Rourkela steel plant where the scaling was so adherent. I'm sorry, I don't have pictures because it was a confidential issue. The scaling was so adherent that they had to short blast it 3 times. Can you imagine short blasting 3 times for removing the scaling? And after using the anti-scale compound, very little short blasting once and they could dispatch it. So in the post-heat treatment operation, we have a productivity increase of 66% almost when it comes to short blasting. This is again a pictorial representation, the same image before. This is at Bharat Forge Limited where they wanted to prevent decarburization on the billets. What is mentioned over here, let me just read out to you. The depth of decarburization when forging blanks are not coated is 0.5 to 0.6 mm, occasionally 1 mm. And the depth of decarburization when forging blanks are coated with an anti-scale compound is 0.15 to 0.20 mm, and that too partial. So of course they have certified that it controls decarburization up to their accepted level. Salvaging of rejected components. We either have 2 options. One, we scrap them, or we salvage by reheat treatment by using protective coatings. The first example would be at HJ Forgings Private Limited, Pushpaman Forgings, Khopoli, I'm sure many of us are aware of. They had to re-harden fully machined windmill gears, like they've written here, was used for re-hardening and tempering of fully machined alloy steel rolled rings. These are windmill gears, and absolutely no allowance for scaling was kept over here because they were fully machined. Any amount of scaling would ruin the components, and these are quite high value components. One ring costs approximately ₹1 lakh, and they had to reheat treat 52 of such components, and they used an anti-scale compound. And what they have written here, what they have certified is 0 scaling was observed on surface of components after heat treatment. And removal of coating was also possible very easily by wire brushing. Now the question here is, you're talking about salvaging 52 lakhs of rupees. How much would you happily pay to salvage 52 lakhs of your components? The investment towards this entire operation was in the range of 30,000 rupees.